It's early morning, and once again, you're standing in front of your closet trying to decide what to wear. You have plenty of clothes, and they fit, and for the most part, you like them. And yet, you stomp away saying, I have nothing to wear. Does any of this sound familiar? The problem isn't that you don't have anything to wear, and the problem isn't your clothes at all. You're exhausted and overwhelmed, and your brain can't process one more thing. It's not your closet. You're just stuck with decision fatigue. Hey friend, this is Suzanne. Welcome to the Daily 15. Today I have some encouragement for you. We're talking all about decision fatigue and how you can have easier mornings and quickly make all the decisions that come your way each day. As always, I'll be providing simple, practical steps that you can do to relieve your stress and overwhelm in just 15 minutes a day. If you're done being stuck in indecision, grab your coffee and let's get started. So if this scenario sounds a bit too familiar, you're not alone. We all deal with this. As women, we carry the heavy mental load, and sometimes we just need to clear our heads. Kind of like the meme says, my brain has too many tabs open. And just like our laptops, our brains don't run well when too much is going on in the background. But there's good news here. It doesn't have to continue this way. You can find ways to clear your mind, make decisions quickly and easily, and move from out of decision fatigue. The very first thing that you have to do, and sometimes this is the hardest, is simplify your choices. I used to do this a lot as an interior designer. In fact, I used to joke that this really was my only job, was to simplify the choices that my customers had to make. By only having two options, your brain can manage that a lot easier than having a million options. So if you're trying to figure out what to have for dinner, instead of leaving it completely open, give your family two options. Pick two options that you have ingredients for, that you like to make, that are easy to make, instead of just generically asking, what do you want for dinner? Now, here's the other thing that I would say. Our moms didn't give us a choice about dinner. They made what they made and we ate it. And sometimes I think in an effort to give our kids choices, we just complicate life. You know what your kids like to eat. Don't go out of your way to make something that they hate, that you'll have to argue about to get them to eat. But you know the things they like. So figure out what some of those options are. Try to keep those ingredients on hand and simplify things like dinner time. If it's your closet that's giving you fits, figure out your clothes the night before. Sometimes the hardest part is getting up early in the morning and standing there and trying to figure it out. The other thing that I love about clothes is you can create a uniform. Now, if you're like me and you want to be creative with what you're wearing, and you don't want to be stuck wearing a traditional uniform, have a formula. I have a friend that's a stylist, and she gave me this advice, and it was so helpful to me. I knew that on the days that I had client meetings, I was going to grab a nice pair of jeans and a cute top and some kind of blazer or jacket. I didn't have a specific one. It wasn't one specific outfit. It was just this framework that I could easily, grab a couple pieces and head out the door without too much thought. It's why presidents and Steve Jobs wear the same thing over and over and over again. When you're making big decisions, you need to leave your brain power available for those and not what you're making for dinner or what you're wearing to the office. So, try to plan ahead, maybe do it in the evening. Maybe just, again, simplify your choices and give yourself two options to wear to work. Simplifying your choices is going to reduce the stress and overwhelm, and it's going to make it easier to make decisions. sometimes this feeling of overwhelm that we get from all the decisions that are coming at us, it's simply from overstimulation. We have so much going on. We have so many things that we're responsible for. And then we add in the constant scroll of social media and the things going on in the world. And it's just a lot. And our brains need a break. Now, one thing that I recommend that I actually started doing a few years ago is that I practice a moment of silence. I try to take a few minutes in the morning, right as I sit down to my desk, and just breathe and be quiet. It's just a moment to let your body and your brain catch up to each other. And it's especially helpful when you're trying to switch gears. So when you're going from work to home or home to work, or you're going into a meeting and then you have to go back to your desk to get to work, take a moment and just be quiet and just sit there. My extrovert friends, don't panic. I promise you can do, if I can do this, you can do this. And just having these moments throughout the day where you just take a pause and you get quiet can really help clear your mind and make decision making much easier for you. When you're in the car, this is a great time on your commute to turn off the radio, to turn off the noise. I know it's hard, but if you're in the car by yourself, this is a great time to grab a few moments of silence. So now we're learning ways that we can simplify our choices, that we can get quiet and help our brains function the way they're supposed to. But one of our biggest problems as women is multitasking. Somewhere along the line, we thought not only can we do it all, but we can do it all at the same time. And it is a storyline that has been fed to us from previous generations on social media, in the news. Listen, we are amazing and women do so much and we carry so much and we carry it with grace, but we are getting crushed under the weight of it all. So we have to let go of the idea of multitasking. Our brains simply cannot do it. It's why when you're driving home, you get halfway home and you don't remember any of your drive. Because some of the things we do are automatic, but our brain is still working. It's why you can be at the dinner table and having a conversation with your family, but if your phone is in your hand, one of the two is going to get your focus. I'm not preaching at you. I'm preaching to me today too. So many times my son will say to me, "Mom, put your phone down." It's not that I'm doing anything wrong with my phone, but he needs my focus. And our decisions need our focus. So we can't do two things at once. And you will actually find that you are so much more productive when you focus on a task. One great thing that I love to do, I have a timer on my phone. And when I am trying to do something that really requires intense focus, I have to make an important decision. I set the timer. I get rid of all the distractions. I shut the radio off. I put my phone away and focus and get it done. And what's amazing is how much you actually can get done when you focus. And once you've done that for 20 minutes or 40 minutes, I say no more than 90 minutes. 90 minutes of deep focus time is really a good sweet spot for your brain. And then you need a break. And the break is the perfect time to grab some of your favorite chocolate or your favorite beverage. And you get to celebrate the work that you've done, not being distracted and not fatiguing your mind. Now, sometimes our decision fatigue comes because of this heavy load that we're carrying. And the reality is we do have a lot of responsibilities. And that comes with a lot of mental gymnastics. How are we going to manage all these schedules? Not just your schedule, but your kids and your spouse and work responsibilities and volunteer responsibilities and, oh, that thing in the neighborhood that you wanted to go to. And sometimes it's scrolling and we see a friend that is really struggling. We see sickness and we see job loss and death. And then you add on that all the things that are going on around us in our communities and around the world. But sometimes we pick up and carry things that aren't meant for us. It's not that we don't care, but sometimes our empathy gets so deep that we begin to carry things for other people that really aren't ours to carry. So you have a friend that texts you and she's really struggling with something. Maybe she doesn't need you to help her find the solution. Maybe she just needs to be heard. Maybe she just needs you to listen and pray for her. But sometimes we need to step in and help, and it's hard to know. So when you're in those situations and you hear about something that really stirs your heart and you're wondering if you should pick this up and carry it and try to find a solution, or if you're simply meant to listen and pray, I want you to ask yourself a few questions. The first question: did they ask you to help, or were they simply venting about a situation that's been difficult for them? Now, when this is your closest friends, sometimes they won't ask for help. And you know that you have the solution, or you know the solution, and you can share it. But pause and think about whether maybe it's just that they need a listening ear. And along those lines, are you actually capable of helping? Sometimes people come into our lives with these hard situations because we're meant to actually help them, because we have a skill set, because we have a connection that we can share, because we know something that will help them. I think this is super helpful when it comes to our kids, especially as they get older. When they're little, we take care of everything. We fix everything. As they get into middle school and high school, sometimes it's hard as moms to put that down and to set that aside and to let them figure it out for themselves. And yet we know that they need that skill. They need to know that they can figure it out on their own, that they can come up with their own solutions. And so this is especially helpful when we're parenting. But even with our friends, are we the ones to give them the solution? Or are they capable of coming up with their own solution? And sometimes, even with these two questions, it's not clear. That's why journaling, I think, is such a great tool. You can write out your feelings and your thoughts and your prayers and process it a little bit. Let it sit for a little bit before instantly jumping in to fix something, to carry one more load that isn't yours to carry. And sometimes you just have to let it go. I won't break into song, but we know our school is doing Frozen right now. There's a lot of let it go happening. But sometimes we have to let those things go. Once we've processed and we see that it really wasn't ours to carry. Our minds need rest, just like our bodies. And to reduce the overwhelm that you're feeling and get out of decision fatigue, one of these steps might help you. It may take all of them, but just try one. I'm so thankful that you're here. I hope you found today helpful. If you're interested in learning more about creating margin in your life, finding a rhythm to the life that you're building that works for you, or you just need help with decision fatigue, schedule your free 30-minute refresh and reset call today. The link is in the show notes below. And until next week, take your daily 15 to create margin for what matters most. Reduce your decision fatigue by trying one of these simple steps today.